My name's Stephen Huntsman. I'm Chief Officer with AIChain. And we thank you all for your attention. And this has been, first of all, thank you so much for having us here.
Oh, we're excited.
This is such a treat. And my name is Stephen Huntsman. I'm a Chief Officer with AIChain. It's AIChain.me. And artificial intelligence is what we're all about. We are a complete hub. Think of Airbnb, Uber, Alibaba, Facebook, Amazon for all things artificial intelligence. We had the artificial drum going on here. I brought an artificial, this is a cyborg here. You've heard of Sophia? Forget that. This is Gabe here.
Hi, guys.
Gabe speaks in code, and I guarantee you, he's one of the smartest human beings I've ever met in my life. Who's when I first met him at a crypto conference I had to bring in an interpreter. Genius in AI. AIChain started in China. We are operations out of Hong Kong, legal out of Singapore. We have the world's top artificial intelligence scientists and professors in China. We are a token that is launched on multiple exchanges called AIT. I was approached from a Chinese, from AIT, AIChain, to help them get out to the world. I've spent a career going back and forth to China. I have ambassador diplomacy in my DNA. I've got an extended relative, that John Huntsman Jr., who is the current ambassador to Russia and who was the ambassador to China when I was living there, and the former ambassador to Singapore, mayor of Utah a couple of times.
Former presidential candidate, right?
Yeah, grooming him for that. Anyway, sharing intelligence is what we're talking about. That's what we really want to do here, making sure everyone has access to everything. Radical inclusion, decentralized, and spreading the love, letting everybody prosper from all this intelligence. We have a presentation that would like to get going. If this is the video, sir, you want to take off with that?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. So those are all phenomenal concepts, and I'm so happy to be a part of this decentralization wave. So I'm coming in to give you a little bit of an overview on technically how we're achieving some of these things and some of our design choices as to adapting for future markets. So here's a few of those markets. We're going to briefly go over a couple of them. I've seen some other companies involved in these, smart cities, IoT, and then we're going to discuss how AIChain plays into these ecosystems and is part of a really large distributed ledger. So this next slide's about autonomous vehicles. There's a bunch of sensor networks here, and there's so much data that comes into these vehicles to recreate what a human can do. Driving a car is a really difficult problem. It's multi-objective. There's no right answer.
I don't know what that was.
Someone's Hot Pockets ready? Is that yours, Chris?
That might be mine.
It's artificial intelligence here.
See, he's Sophia with a sense of humor. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
We put Chris on that side. He's so small he'd block the screen if you're any closer.
I'm trying.
He can
build
build
bridges
with his bare hands.
There.
In fact, here's the hard numbers from Intel and the amount of data. So if you're driving from 8 hours, I know too much about Texas, but that's to Dallas and back from a rough estimation.
That's like next door and back in Texas.
Yeah, with your Sentry input to drive a vehicle would be consuming 4,000 gigabytes of data. It's 4 terabytes. That's more.
So for human beings,
yeah.
So sensory data, meaning as a human, when I'm driving, if I was a computer, I'm doing that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
probably
just,
more.
Just for the people that aren't as smart like me.
Yeah, the fidelity
of your
eyes.
Sure we understand what you're talking about here.
You can see all these sensors. So this is NVIDIA's partnered with Tesla's platform. This is the amount of sensor data that's coming in. These cameras need to go through a computer to keep you safe and to keep the road safe. And
that's why 1,200 people a day die, right, in a car accident?
At least. Another big wave here that's producing tons and tons of data is Internet of Things. It adds even more complexity. Is anyone here involved in any IoT projects or sensor networks?
Couple hands. I know we have a bunch coming tomorrow, so
yeah.
For those who are watching this on video, raise your hand.
Okay. AI is also coming into other fields to make sense of all of the mass data. One of those One of those is it's medical fields. This is doc.ai. Using sort of your history, you can make a custom profile. Have you guys heard of Ross? That is an AI-powered legal assistant that's using statistical analysis to displace white-collar jobs. In fact, AI is not coming for burger flipping first. It's coming for higher-paying white-collar jobs like legal assistants. And all these engines are powered by really large centralized organizations. IBM Watson's one example. Magnet's another one that does forensic analysis. Alexa's here to take on Siri, sort of a personal assistant. And AI is a very, very potent technology all across the board. So how is industry really going to handle and make sense of all of this data? Fortunately, hardware is evolving really fast. Anyone who's got a computer at home or on their lap is using probably NVIDIA's technology. They make graphics cards. These are very good for gaming, but also for this machine vision applications. The GPU computers are really good at handling this kind of data. And luckily, their innovation generationally has improved 500% in less than 2 years. For anyone who's technical, those are called FP16 operations. It's a low precision type of computation. So if you're watching a video or processing images, it doesn't have to be really exact data. And NVIDIA's got really good at speeding this up. A 5x increase in less than 2 years is shattering Moore's law, and it's giving us a little hope to make sense of all of this data that's pouring in. I could go over graphs all day, but that's kind of dry. So now we're going to get into the core separation of powers for AIChain. AIChain's got 4 main components for any AI application. So back to the self-driving car example, all of that data.
No, go ahead. Keep going. I was going to cut you off and tell me what the problem set is. Let's frame it up under a problem, but I think you're going there. So
Tesla's got a challenge. In fact, they have one of the best algorithms on Earth. What they're missing is data. They're centrally having to get this data with dash cams and to train an AI to do what a human can do. It takes millions of hours to do that so that these machines don't have error. And they need to have low error rates in order to take over these jobs and automation. This whole other conversation about how this could bring down the price of goods and be a strong step towards a utopia. But AIChain at its core separates these problem statements into decentralized ways. So for example, there's 4 major components. One is a compute provider. That would be somebody who has a lot of computers. Anyone mining Bitcoin or Ethereum here, GPU mining? Yeah, you guys, there's a network incentive to harness the power of your GPUs for artificial intelligence and deep learning. Then the next part of this 4-piece model are data providers. So if I had a bunch of dash cam footage from how I drove, Tesla wants it. Like, they need this data to train their models. If you have any kind of data that's it's all correlated and packaged around a job that needs to get done, whether that's Supreme Court cases for the AI lawyers or some sort of data about how to cook burgers or something. There's an AI that uses a thermal camera to collect data on how to cook the perfect burger. These data sets are monetized as well. If you have this data, it fits right into our system, and you can be paid for your data. Unlike what other giants are doing out there.
So we're talking about, and I'm gonna keep feeding you because I want to get through all these things. You're talking about Tesla's getting data through their own vehicles, but now you're talking about getting data from other vehicles.
Yeah, we're decentralizing the data. So
you're gonna sell Tesla in this example data from Ford or whomever.
We're not selling it. Everybody else can, and they can sell it on our platform.
Individuals, me driving my car.
Absolutely.
So
everyone can participate.
Getting back to the pragmatics of it, so that everyone's kind of framed up. So I could join AIChain, or I could become an input to AIChain.
Absolutely.
So everyone in this room could be an input. That's the decentralized part. And then
ambassador.
Tesla understands that aggregated data has no incentive other than whatever my unit level benefit or incentive is, and so it's true, or it's not inputted by someone who has an agenda.
So Tesla would be both on the buying and potentially the selling side. So
sure, they're going to sell too.
They can license their self-driving platform to all of the automotive manufacturers who can also purchase through our marketplace. If you were Ford, BMW, et cetera, and you wanted to license Tesla's model here that they're training, and they're training it very closely with NVIDIA, you can do that on this network. Every single time somebody wants a self-driving car project, if you're touching their IP, they're getting paid through that incentive. The next part here are app providers. That's what I just described. If Tesla has an app or somebody's written an AI app that's got a function and you want to use it, it's in your hands. If it's published on our marketplace and you're an independent developer or somebody, you would have access to those AI tools at a pretty low cost. In fact, if you're doing data providing or hosting or GPU mining, you're going to stack up enough AI tokens that maybe you're now exposed to a new market sector. If you wanted to then purchase AI, the next one's going to be consumers, which again I just described. Here's another graph. Maybe this one's a little more friendly, showing that ecosystem. So
3 minute warning, just so you can pick which ones you want to go. And by the way, guys, so here's how this goes. We're having happy hour. We're gonna do these things. Take these guys out, buy them a beer on 6th Street, meet with them. They're gonna be around all weekend. So so this is designed to get you interested or curious and ask questions. But 3 minutes, we've got let's hit on a couple things, and then let's talk about where the business is, what your ask is. You've got an ask, and whether that's capital or whether that's customers. Let's make sure we nail that before we leave, because I want to make sure you guys get the ask in.
All right, let me a couple more points. So
sure, yeah. Go
this
ahead.
is all powered
on
by smart contracts, very similar to the Ethereum blockchain, where Ethereum uses Solidity, AIChain uses Docker. Docker will open source our image files. It's a little technical here, but the reason we use Docker is that you can bring in your TensorFlow and your Caffe, other workflows, import them, plug them directly into our blockchain, and this is driving community development. Ultimately, the open source Docker file is about community. So these are the most popular programming languages. You see Python, C++, etc. It's not Solidity. Solidity in Ethereum's a derivation of JavaScript. Besides that, here's to touch our key features again. Is open source. It's permissionless, meaning anyone can come in and publish their AI content. It's largely deregulated, and we're a fan of that. It's ASIC resistant in our algorithm. We can use this algorithm to do it, and it's scalable past 2,000 transactions per second. If you saw Ethereum and CryptoKitties, this crashed Ethereum. So CryptoKitties were like a little made-up asset that were on the blockchain, and Ethereum only does 15 transactions per second. We're currently at 200, scaling to 2,000. So here's some of our investors and the exchanges we're on currently. We're in our Series B sale of 630 million tokens, which is about 18% of our volume of 2.1 billion. Bitmain is an investor. There's a few others here, and I can open this up for Q&A now.
Yeah, so we've got time for probably one question, and then you can certainly meet with these guys.
To meet with anybody.
Yeah, so here's how we're going to do this, guys, so that the next guy's poet and everyone after them doesn't get interrupted. In the media lounge, if you guys want to take questions, right, they're VIPs, just take the questions in the media lounge in the back. Let's take one up here, if you have one. Yes. Oh, Cowboys fan, I love it.
So I saw that you had an example for healthcare there. But how would healthcare work? Like, I understand the cards now. What would be an example?
AI touches everything. Everything, when you're monitored, if you have a pacemaker, that's artificial intelligence. I have artificial intelligence in myself. I had 2 steel rods in my back, and they were taken out. Artificial intelligence touches everything. Literally.
There's some AI applications out here that can diagnose you with cancer from the sound of your voice and the waveform. There's ability to ask you questions, and maybe you want to connect your Facebook profile and data, and we can use that to also highly accurately diagnose depression and other mental disorder. That would be applicable to the healthcare. But besides that, our blockchain does not store any documentation, so it's automatically HIPAA compliant. If a third-party medical provider wanted to host data, that would be on a separate server, and there's an API to integrate their data to actionably and compliantly operate on our blockchain.
All right, and one last thing I wanted to mention with the metadata that we have, and one of the AI technologies that we are extremely excited about, with metadata and the amount of information that we have, it's at 100% lie detector from the algorithms for the way words are put together and the structure of the sentence, and how, so for when you're getting a text, when you're looking at the news, when you're looking at Facebook, when you're looking at anything, you can, for maybe a half a cent, maybe the business model is still being worked out now, but this is massive for an individual. When you're receiving or looking at anything, you can use this AI that we're working with and decipher 100% if it is false or fake.
All right, give him a hand.
And thank you so much, AIChain.me, and we're happy to talk with y'all.
Meet him in the back. Meet him in the